I've got 5 authors to share today that I've had poor reading experiences with. Should I give them another try? Welcome to Fantasy for the Ages, the show where a father and son talk about fantasy, science fiction, horror, and other nerdy things we enjoy. Today, just Jim, the father, here with you to talk about some authors that maybe haven't worked out so well for me, and I'm pondering, are they worth another shot? If you enjoy this discussion today, I hope you'll give us a thumbs up, hit that like button, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And look down in the show notes, all the ways you can interact with my son Zach and I. Thanks. So I've got 5 authors. They're not in any particular ranking. They're just authors that the last time I read them, I wasn't quite sold. I struggled with aspects of what I was reading. I kind of had questions about, do I really want to read this author anymore? And I'm going to toss some at you here now, let you know what I'm thinking, and I would value your comments about any of these authors and your experiences. None of these authors are failures. Lots of people like them. That's why it's a challenge for me to figure out, is it just me? Is it okay that I don't care for their works and I should just let it go? Or am I missing something? Should I try some more? All right, the first one, it's a biggie. I'm talking about Brandon Sanderson here. I've read a ton of Brandon Sanderson's works, pretty much everything up to his last book. I mean, nearly everything up to his last book, Wind and Truth, book 5 of the Stormlight Archive, part of his massive Cosmere collection. Wind and Truth was not what I was hoping for. I was waiting for this big conclusion to the first half of the Stormlight Archive, and there were just things stuck into this book that I did not need, did not want. Now, I chose to find some things to appreciate and value about the book, and the Adolin parts were actually kind of fun, but there was a lot that was a waste of my time. Things I don't need. I think he went the wrong directions. He's an author. He's free to go the way he wants, but I'm a reader and I'm free to decide what I want to read after this. So I am debating. Am I done? There's so much else out there to read. Do I want to give any of my time to Brandon Sanderson's works anymore? This is not some massive debate of conscience or anything. I know. I'm just trying to figure out books. So don't come at me going, you need to get over it, dude. It's just an episode. It's just what I want to talk about. If I do read him anymore, I do have already something waiting in my TBR, and it's actually not very far down. It's just a short story that was sent to me because I did sign up for his year of secret novels back during the pandemic. And Long Chills and Case Dough is a short story that was just provided complimentary to those of us who took advantage of that offer. It's actually the last thing he wrote before he published his first novel. It's never been published before. I don't even know what it's about. It's low risk, so I will probably read it, especially since I already have it. But I'll be thinking all the way through it, is this it? Is this making it so it's worth me trying some more? The problem with this book is it's written way back before he progressed through a lot of things. So it may show that it's early Sanderson. Then again, I may like it because it's early Sanderson. So that was my first author. My second author, Stephen King. Okay, I've read a ton of Stephen King, but the dude keeps pumping out books. I spent time last year and the year before trying to cover all the books that I hadn't got to yet. And I hit a wall when I got to Duma Key. Some of you were following us already and remember my challenges with that book. I got through it, but only through stubborn perseverance. It was so slow and it just was not pulling me in. And even when we get to the big finish, I'm like, it wasn't worth the effort for me. So do I want to read more Stephen King? I have all the works of Stephen King that I haven't read still on my TBR, but I admit I pushed them down farther. I needed a break. Next up will be Dr. Sleep, which is a sequel to The Shining. I freaking loved The Shining. That's old classic King. Will Dr. Sleep rekindle my interest in Stephen King? If you have ideas, if you've read that book, feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments, because I'd really like another good Stephen King. Number 3 is Robin Hobb. Fantasy author, very successful. Her Realm of the Elderlings series, for example, a series of trilogies and quartets that people just absolutely adore. I've only read one trilogy of Robin Hobb, and it's from that series, but it was the second trilogy, the Live Ship Traders trilogy. It was okay. I didn't feel it was worth the investment of my time that I gave it. So I didn't pursue any more Robin Hobb. Now, this was back before I was doing content. This was just a random book grab at Barnes & Noble. It left me not wanting to pursue any more Robin Hobb. But Zach has loved what he's enjoyed in the Realm of the Outerlings, especially right off the bat with the first trilogy, the Farseer trilogy. Lots of others of you who follow our channel have been telling me, Jim, the Farseer trilogy, it's classic. Honestly, all of Robin Hobb, you should enjoy it. Am I a bad person? Maybe it was just that I read the Live Ship Traders trilogy first, and so it was out of order, and that messed my perception up. I'm afraid I just didn't get Robin Hobb's writing style. But because Zach especially has raved about it so much, I did put Robin Hobb's works back into my TBR, and the Farseer trilogy should happen here in 2025. But if that one doesn't work for me, that's it. We're done. We're doing a Terry Pratchett on it. It's not my thing. Out it goes. Yeah, you won't find Pratchett on this list. I tried him 3 times. His style just didn't work for me. But here's another one. Thomas Howard Riley. This was a very contentious author for me to read. I read his debut novel, We Break Immortals. Big honkin' chunker of a book. Abrasive, grimdark fantasy novel. I hated it at the beginning, but I kept with it. I mean, I found it offensive, and you got to go really hard to offend me. It just, no, I was reading so much I didn't like. By the time I got to the end, I was like, oh man, this was fun. There was a lot of unique magic, really cool storytelling that took place. I'm kind of interested to know what'll come next. So what's on my TBR is a prequel. So it's not really what comes next. The Monsters We Feed, a prequel novel from the same universe, is waiting for me. Spencer over the Fantasy Files says it's awesome. He really recommended I read it. So I should get to it this year, but I'm going in hoping I'll feel about it the way I did at the end of We Break Immortals. If I have to go through what I had at the beginning of it again, I might be done. But I think I should give Thomas Howard Riley another shot. I mean, I ended well last time. My final one here is a head scratcher for me, Christopher Buehlman. Now, Christopher has a bunch of fantasy novels out there now, but the one I read, the only one I read was The Black Tongue Thief. People were raving about it. This is fantastic. And I dove in and went, didn't light my fire. It was okay. I didn't engage or connect with the protagonist. I didn't really care that much about the story. I finished it. It's rare for me to DNF something, but it just didn't really do a lot for me. So why would I try him again? Well, the reason is somebody recommended to me Between Two Fires, which is a very different type of book from The Black Tongue Thief, apparently. It's an epic medieval horror story. So I think it has essence of fantasy, but it leans into the horror. When I read the preview, it intrigued me. So it might just be I didn't value the storyline of The Black Tongue Thief, but Christopher Buehlman might be an author I'll enjoy. And I'm going to try Between Two Fires. That's also in my TBR, maybe this year, maybe early next year, depending on my reading pace. I'll give it a shot, and I'm hoping I'll finally get what people see in him. All right, those are the 5 authors that I'm debating. I do intend with each one of them to try them again. I'm just not sure that's the right call for me. If you have thoughts, again, on any of these authors, things you've enjoyed, or feelings where you want to say, no, Jim, let them go. I agree, there wasn't much there. Put it down in the comments. I value what you say and I will respond. Also, I just want to give a shout out, a thank you to all of you who are our Patreon supporters and give us a little financial support each month to keep this stuff coming out to you regularly. We really value your support. Thank you so much. If any of you want to check out what you get for being a Patreon supporter, find us on patreon.com. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.